Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest and, let's be honest, most confusing financial decisions a lot of us have to make, getting a new car. Should you lease it or should you buy it?
Man, this is a question that gets debated all the time, and you hear some really strong opinions on both sides. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to use a real-world example to see which option is actually cheaper and figure out which one is the right move for you.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the big question itself. Then we'll break down exactly what leasing is versus the path to ownership. After that, we get to the really fun part, the price showdown with actual numbers. And finally, we'll help you figure out your own driver profile to make the best choice.
So first things first, why is this whole thing so complicated? Well, it's because that low monthly payment you see in the ads, that's just the beginning. The real decision has to factor in the total long-term costs, what you actually value about owning something, and, your own lifestyle. It's a mix of cold, hard numbers and your personal priorities.
And get this, the average new car payment has climbed to almost $730 a month. Wow. So it's no surprise that people are looking for a way to get that bill down. And that's where leasing comes in, looking like the cheaper option. But as we're about to find out, that's definitely not the whole story.
All right, let's start with leasing. Before we can really compare these two options, we have to be crystal clear on what a lease actually is and what you're paying for. At its heart, a lease is just a long-term rental. That's it. You're not buying the car. You're just paying for the value the car is expected to lose, what they call depreciation, during the time that you're driving it.
So when you look at your monthly lease payment, it's really important to know where that money's going. It is not building any ownership for you, nope. Instead, every single dollar is going to cover these four things: the car's drop in value, an interest charge, taxes, and of course, some dealer fees.
Okay, so that's leasing. Now let's flip the coin and talk about the traditional path, buying a car, which for most of us means financing it with a loan. Now, when you finance a car, you're taking on a loan for the whole purchase price. Every payment you make is split into two parts. One piece pays down the loan itself, and the other covers interest. But here's the crucial difference. You are building equity. You're gaining an ownership stake in an asset.
All right, this is where it gets really good. Talk is cheap, right? So let's run the actual numbers. We're going to put leasing and buying head-to-head with a brand new 2026 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid over a 3-year span.
At first glance, this looks like a slam dunk for leasing, right? But that monthly payment, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's the small, manageable part you see sticking out of the water. This is what dealers want you to focus on. But there's a huge hidden cost lurking just below the surface, and that's where the real story is. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. This is the most common mistake people make. Just comparing the monthly payments is not an apples-to-apples comparison, not even close. To find the true cost, you have to look at the total amount of money that actually leaves your pocket over the entire 3 years.
Okay, so check this out. Over 3 years, the lease costs you a total of about 17 grand. If you buy, you pay out over 34 grand. But, and this is the absolute key, at the end of those 3 years, you own the car and can sell it. So once you factor in that resale value, your actual out-of-pocket cost for buying was just over $8,000. That's over $9,000 cheaper than leasing.
And seeing it like this in a bar chart just makes it undeniable. Even with those much higher monthly payments, the total cost to use that car for 3 years was way, way lower when buying, all because you owned an asset that held onto its value.
Now, here's a fascinating little twist to all this. A lease contract has something called a residual value. It's a fixed price you can buy the car for when your lease is up. And because the used car market has been so hot, that price is often a lot lower than what the car is actually worth. So you could literally buy out your lease and turn around and sell the car for a nice, tidy profit.
So, look, while the math often points towards buying, the numbers don't tell the whole story. The best decision for you, personally, really comes down to your needs, your driving habits, and what you actually value the most. This really breaks it all down. Buying is probably your best bet if you're a long-term thinker, you want the best financial outcome, and you love the freedom of just owning your car. On the other hand, leasing might make more sense if you love having a new car every few years. You really need that lower monthly payment, you don't drive much, or maybe you can use it as a business write-off. And please, don't forget the strings that come attached to leasing. You're usually locked into a really strict mileage limit, and going over can cost you 10 to 25 cents for every single mile. Ouch. And if you want to get out of the lease early, get ready for some seriously hefty termination fees.
And at the end of it all, you walk away with nothing to show for all those payments.
So there you have it. The monthly payment is just the hook. The real decision is all about understanding the total cost of ownership and then asking yourself, what kind of driver am I, really? By weighing the pure math against your actual lifestyle, you can drive off that lot feeling confident you made the right call.